properly and act aptly, because why? This is where the closing of the government is. Unfortunately, money that is supposed to be deployed for the local government are taken away by the governors. We all know this. Some of the governors, if I can use the word, because I remember seeing some statement from Soulu saying that he allows his own system to work. But I can tell you 80% of the states don't allow local government to function. Until they function properly, we cannot solve this matter. It's not about creating state police. Some of us are apprehensive when you talk about state police because of the impunity of some of them that are likely to give. I want to appeal that as the way forward, we should identify all those vulnerable areas, including the border areas, and make sure a thorough assessment is done, and then come out with a solution. That solution may be including stationing permanent, closing our borders in terms of accessibility to some of these banditry activities. Even in the state activity, until such is done, we may come in here every day to mention one motion or the other. And I'm calling for an ad hoc committee that can serve on this, or the ad hoc committee could be committee on security, police, Nigerian Army, Navy, or on the alternative, another committee that could be set up to look into this matter. I will tell you, sir, one of the problem that we're able to solve, because when this thing started some years ago, I brought up a motion. Honorable Fulata did a very thorough job, and it's that thorough job that he did that we were able to save lives. Otherwise, I will tell you for sure, we will have been wiped out, my community will have been wiped out, and maybe more than 50% of plateaus will be wiped out. I think we need a thorough job of this kind that can help us sort out the matter. I want to appeal and thank you and appreciate this moment, and that we should also include in the areas where to deploy services of the security. I'm appealing that I'm amending the motion to include Bangalala in Wasiloko Government area of Plateau State. Thank you very much, sir. Associate.
Thank you. Always great hearing from you. We have missed you for some time now, so now your voice has echoed back in the Parliament. Is the voice of reason. And you have raised fundamental issues. And I look forward to a day when motions will be moved on this floor, thanking the security agencies for an intervention that was effective, that was timely, that made the people feel they have security agencies around them. Many people are interested in this topic, and I'm going to allow them comment. Let's have leader, deputy leader, say something. Most of you will be giving time.
Thank you, Mr.
Shetima,
Speaker.
after the leader, Shetima, Honorable Shetima, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But you should make it brief because we have a time limit before we ask the leader to admit those who are joining us for the joint sitting today. Because Speaker will be coming to take over during the joint sitting. So we have to do this preliminary and yield the floor to the Speaker and the Senate President.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. It's so unfortunate that we are in a situation like this today. First of all, I want to congratulate, praise the mover of this motion for this timely appeal. But I must be very emphatic that yes, severally on the floor of this assembly, issue of insecurity across the whole nation, mention where it is not happening. In the north, northeast, southwest, south-south, north central. We only end up in our prayers appealing to the relevant security agencies to intervene. And at the end of the day, I don't even know whether the relevant committees get in touch with the relevant security agencies. In as much as we must commend the federal government for their laudable programs in moving this nation forward, I must state categorically that yes, the issue of security is still driving this nation back. It has happened everywhere in my immediate community. There is a saying that only he who feels it knows it. Unless it happens to you, you cannot know the gravity of what is happening or what people are saying every day. So I want to, in a way of motion, move that because of this consistent security problem or insecurity in our nation. I want to move in a way of motion that, yes, the leadership of this National Assembly should meet with Mr. President on only this single issue of insecurity so that we can know a way of moving forward. It will now be the duty of the President, the Chief Commander-in-Chief, to invite the relevant community chief, the relevant security chief for proper addressing. I move this as a motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So you want that to be as an amendment?
As an amendment, yes.
Yeah, so we'll come to amendment because there's an amendment by Honorable Wase. It has not been seconded. We'll also come to your own amendment so that it will be seconded when we get to that. But let's hear from people. Shetima, Honorable Shetima, please, you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I remain Lawan Shetima Ali, representing the good people of Bursari Gaida Municipal Constituency. I am from Yobe State, one of the states being always talking of security issues. Mr. Speaker, while appreciating the mover of this motion and subsequent speakers, I must point out that this issue of security, as far as we are concerned, in this hallowed chamber, we have been talking about it since last night's assembly. We know of the efforts of our security personnel who always do their every humanly possible best to see that they protect life and security, life and properties of us, I can say. But the issue of security, Mr. Speaker, we have to be extra cautious because we know all what we are talking here is out of concern. But security strategies cannot be publicized. We talk, we appeal, we complain. It's up to the security personnel to find their ways of dealing with such culprits. We know Northeast, the insecurity issue, insurgency started in the Northeast, particularly Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, up to Gombe, about all these Northeast states. Not until in few years back now, this thing spread to North Central, Northwest, particularly. We are not happy with what is happening. If you could remember, there was a special security retreat being conducted in the NIA complex, I could remember, of which most of us members were in attendance. Please, Leader of the House of Minority
Leader.
And other resource persons, including retired military personnel, DSS, and what have you. And report was put up, recommendations were made, and I believe some of the recommendations were even adopted in the process of tackling these insecurity issues. As said by Honorable Idris Wase, the issue of insecurity and all other problems that we are having at the grassroots level is the ineffective services on the side of the local governments. Local governments were handicapped. They are not doing their functions properly as being enshrined in the Constitution. There should be a tier of government, but not part of government, particularly to the state government, whatever we can call it, but it should be a third tier of government. It should be independent, so that they should tackle the issues of security in this country, not even security alone. The ineffective performances in the local government that cause us, particularly the National Assembly members now providing through constituency projects, things like water, and other empowerment program. If local government were being funded properly, they are providing the necessary services to the grassroots people, I don't think the National Assembly will be dividing its attention from the primary functions of lawmaking to even providing executive projects at the grassroots level. So there are a lot of things being involved in this issue of insurgency and insecurity in this country. And secondly, I want this House to continue appreciating the efforts of our military personnel, DSS, the police, and other paramilitaries, because we know what has been happening. If, Mr. Speaker, by the lip of this House, a video that was sent to me last Monday, just 3 days ago, of the performances of our military at the war front will be shown on this screen. You realize that our military men are doing their very best in this country with regard to security. There are a lot of discoveries, but it cannot be publicized. That's the issue. We know what we have been experiencing, particularly in Yobe, Borno. Now there's very there's relative peace in those areas. We know, though they have not been cleared completely, but we know that there is very high relative peace presently in our states. When you compare to 10 years back when this thing was started. So I think we should commend the efforts of our military and other security personnel in this regard. They are doing their very best. We should commend them. Should continue supporting them. That's my position, sir.
Thank you. One issue has been coming up over and over again, and it has to do with the efficiency of the local government system, the ability to activate them, and that is why I'm happy that we are doing constitutional amendment, and it's one of the thematic areas that we are focusing on. I think Nigerians are listening. The reason why they have to encourage their representatives at the state government levels, the houses of assembly, to pay attention to issues on the bill with regards to autonomy of the local government system. And it's the body language of the current administration in achieving the agenda to activate, stimulate the local government to serve the purpose for which they are set out to achieve, so as to lessen the burden from the center. I will give, please, when you stand to talk, make it brief so that we can give more people opportunity. We have maybe less than 20 minutes to round this up and admit people who will join us in this conversation. Let me recognize Honorable Miriam Onoha. And after that, Honorable Jaha.
Thank you very much,
then
Mr.
I'll come
Speaker.
over here.
Distinguished honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Princess Miriam Odinaka Onoha. I represent the people of Okigwe, Onemo, Isialambano Federal Constituency. I am from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise this morning to lend my voice to this issue being discussed. First, I want to commend the mover of this motion and also support the earlier speakers on this all-important subject matter which affects every zone in this country. I'd like to contribute that, having heard what others have said, and so not to repeat my previous colleagues, I want to suggest that we deploy some security adaptation strategies where we look at each zone and deploy tailor-made solutions according to the prevalent issues in that region. I would speak for the Southeast as a representative from that zone. And I know that we are aware that the live wire of the economy of this nation largely depends or derives from the Southeast. We are known for trade and economy. And this insecurity has in no small means affected the contributions to the GDP, which ordinarily would have come from this region. You are aware that in the last few years, we've had issues of sit at home and lockdown, occasioned by this insecurity and non-state actors. I would suggest that in order to support the effort of state governors within this region who have deployed their own internal measures to ensure that the markets remain open, because if Southeasterners don't trade, then the economic activities from that region becomes hampered. That we deploy more security presence around areas of trade and commerce to buffer and encourage residents who defy such threats from non-state actors and come to trade and ensure that their life and properties are being protected. I say this in addition to also supporting non-kinetic approach, such as those being driven by the Deputy Speaker himself and all members from this House, and especially the Southeast, wherein we deploy non-kinetic approach and political approach, as it were, depending on the situation and the case, to ensure results are achieved. Secondly and lastly, I would contribute also that we are aware that over the years, critical security centers like police stations and police and security infrastructure have been touched or burnt down or destroyed by non-state actors, leaving those areas which ordinarily ought to be policed vacant and open to further invasion and intimidation of the people who now move in fear of terror. I suggest that this House do also resolve as part of our resolution to mandate the necessary security agencies like the police and the ministry to make the necessary appropriation or budgetary provision to repair this destroyed infrastructure, so that those gaps which have now widened and have become places where these non-state actors actually now reside become reclaimed, reconstructed, and reinforced to add to the security architecture overall. I want to appreciate Mr. President and the security team for doing an impressive work, because over the last few years, I want to observe that security has improved, because if we also point out where there are improvements, then it will lead for better improvement of the security architecture. Thank you, Honorable.
Yeah, so you have an amendment to make to include that police in their budget?
Yes.
To include repair
reconstruction,
of all the reconstruction of all the broken police stations.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
All right, so we'll put it down as one of the amendments. When the time comes, we'll vote on it.
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, Honorable Jaha.
Thank you.
And then after that, I will come here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Ahmed Jaha Babao, Chief of Dambo, Goza Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, while commending the previous speaker, Honorable Princess Miriam, for recognizing that Southeast constitute an industrialized part of this country, I want us to know that most of these industries have their input from either mining or agriculture, which is more or less not possible today in this country. Sir, we should tell each other the truth. When there was an insecurity in the Northeast between 2010 to 2020, there was no hunger in the country. Most of the industries get their inputs, particularly from the agro-allied industries and mining. When bandits or so-called Boko Haram or criminals realize that it's better for them to promote hunger than for them to constitute insecurity to a location, they expanded their operations beyond the Northeast to affect Northwest and North Central. And we are all aware, these three zones, whether you like it or not, contributes more than 80% of what is consumed in this country and what is being imputed in various industries in this country to produce. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, complacency is not the right thing. Rome or Roman Empire used to be the greatest empire in the world, but it was destroyed by the complacency of the Romans. There is nothing wrong. Since you are facing insurgency, you are facing external aggression, to invite anybody that can come in and assist you to provide even temporary solution to what is happening so that the long-term solution can be provided gradually. Sir, I said it the other time, I want to repeat it. I am commending the effort of our security chiefs. I am commending the effort of our gallant military and other agents of coercion. They are doing their best. But I want us to know that they equally need a helping hand. Most countries of the world, if they are in war, they invite mercenaries. They recruit mercenaries to assist them. Nigeria is not as powerful as Ukraine. Nigeria is not as powerful and advanced as Russia. But they still bring mercenaries to help them, to assist them in facing their own enemies in the battle lines. So, sir, to me, there is nothing wrong if we can bring in mercenaries because we attempted doing it in the past and it worked until when they were removed in this country. So there is a need to sit down with the security chiefs and discuss the idea of bringing in mercenaries to clear our land of insecurity. If not, the hunger we faced from the beginning of this year for next year is going to be worse, because you have to look at their strategy. Now they are trying to stop people from going to farms, especially in the northeast, in the northwest, and the north central. They know if they do that, the whole country will be in hunger and there will be agitation. People can take weapons against government. We shouldn't take it lightly. You should understand this. We had issues of hunger in January, February, and March. And we will have worse if we didn't stop these people from preventing people to go to farmlands and cultivate their farms. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on the floor of this House, we have been passing resolutions, reaching consensus on security issues. But we have not been seeing practical results, even in a dyadic encounter or an executive session. We deserve to know the truth because we represent our people. We are here to speak and on behalf of our people. So we are the first people that should know. Democracy emanated in the ancient Greek city-states, and people gather in a marketplace to sit down and discuss the affairs of their state. You represent Bende, I represent Chibok Damboa Federal Constituency. People of Bende deserve to know the truth from you, and people of Chibok Damboa Goza deserve to know the truth from me. And I can only know that if and only if I've been communicated effectively. Right. For that matter, this is where I want to make my contribution. I urge us to at least look at the alternative of bringing in mercenaries to assist our existing military and other agents of coercion on ground to end insecurity in the country. Thank you, sir.
Let's have, you've been raising your hand for a long time. Thank you, Honorable Jaha. But please make it very brief. Let's give more people opportunity. 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of the House, I'll recognize him when we come to this room.
Mr. Speaker.
Straight to the point, 1 minute, 2 minutes, please.
My name is Abbas Adigun. I represent the people of Ibadan Southeast, Ibadan Northeast Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, members, and from Ibadan, your state. Mr. Speaker, you know I don't talk much. And when it comes to security, you know my resume. I served and I retired from military in the US. And I came back to Nigeria and I joined politics. So I'm here today. So when it comes to security, I think when I speak, it's very important that you listen to my own point. And thank you for giving me this chance. 7 assembly, 9 assembly, 7 assembly, 8 assembly, 9 assembly, 10 assembly. We've been talking about insecurity in this country. And it's unfair to Nigerians
about we, parliamentary branch of government, executive branch of government, that so far we have not got anything done on this security. And it will be unfair to all our security agencies that we are keep on talking about they are not performing their job. So I have a 4 points that I want to discuss with you briefly. Number one, our population in this country is over 200 million. And when you add all the security agencies together in our country, they are not even up to 10%. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we should find a way to make sure that we allow them, we give them the approval to increase the capacity of our security agency in Nigeria. Besides, we have so many unemployment in this country. That's number one. Number two, we keep on talking about insecurity. What about these people? They have family. They are human beings like us. What do we do with their welfare capacity? I was the first one that moved the motion in the Assembly about the welfare of our security agency in this country. Mr. Speaker, when I was in the US, I signed the document. If I did not come back from the war, $400,000 will go to my family. Then the branch that belonged to US Navy, another $150,000. That makes it $550,000 to come to Nigeria to my family. Do we have anything like that for our people? Because when they go out there, Mr. Speaker, it's a 50% of coming back home. What do we do? What happened to their family? Who assists their family if they did not come back? So we need to be real. We need to be fat in this country. Number three, Mr. Speaker, we are talking about this, our agency, our security agency, to go and meet all these bandits, all these kidnappers. What day do we even see their equipment? Do they update their equipment? They are still carrying AK-47 that was produced maybe about 40, 30 years ago. When you go to an advanced country, you will see the new model of equipment they are using to go and fight all these bandits, all these Boko Haram, whatever you might mean. Even the insecurity is not just northeast, it's not just northeast, it's everywhere in Nigeria today. So what do we have? Do we have latest that all our security agencies are asking for? We don't have it because I was a part of security agency committee in the Assembly. So I was frustrated. You cannot see me in any security committee this time around because everything that we say in the Assembly, nothing gets done at all. So let's just be sincere to ourselves in this country. Then the last one, I'm a Yoruba man from Ibadan. I speak Yoruba. Unfortunately, I don't speak any other language. Now you post me to somewhere in Sokoto or somewhere in Onitsha, and there are issues there. And they are speaking their dialect, their local language. And this is an insecurity issue. And I cannot understand their language. So we've been agitated for a long time in the Assembly that we should find a way to get state policing so that the people within the community, they will understand each other. If they are speaking Hausas, and the people from there, they are in charge, they will understand themselves more than me that process from Oyo State to Sokoto that don't understand. So those 4 points, I have more, but let me just only talk about those 4.
Thank you.
Speaker, we need to address those 4. And in National Assembly, we need to help them if we really need something to be done about this insecurity in Nigeria. And the executive branch of government, we have to hold them accountable for all this one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well done, Honorable Abbas. Well done. Well done. Nice points raised and well noted. And some of them should also come by way of amendment to that prayer. Well done. Straight to the point with the issues captured. These are real issues. Let me yield the applause to Honorable Saddam. After that, the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And then we begin to vote on the amendment. Please make it brief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bamidele Salam is my name. At the north, at the south, Egbedore, Ejikbo Federal Constituency of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I identify with all the sentiments and points validly made by all the earlier speakers addressing the issue of insecurity once again on the floor of this hallowed chamber. Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw a small analogy. When a problem, when an issue affects the health of an individual and he goes to a health center to see a medical doctor, the doctor asks a lot of questions and makes diagnosis. Because in most cases, when we look at the manifestation of an illness, without probing further into the root cause of the illness, we may make a wrong prescription. And so I want to just quickly say that, Mr. Speaker, there is a very direct correlation between insecurity and one, poverty. There's a direct correlation between insecurity and unemployment. There's a direct correlation between insecurity and education. These are established facts. And that is the reason why, if you look at the areas most prone to insecurity today in Nigeria, and you compare them with the statistics on the degree or percentage of poverty established by world bodies, you will discover that the places most affected by insecurity today in Nigeria are the poorest part of Nigeria. They are the least educated part of Nigeria. Facts. I'm not picking up figures on my head. By UNICEF, by WHO, by all world organizations. In other words, the problems we are seeing today are as a result of seeds that we have sown or refused to sow 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And so it is good we are addressing the effect. We are addressing the physical manifestation. But, sir, we need to go back to the roots. There is a saying that the man who opens the door of a school closes the door to a prison. Mr. Speaker, if we have 17.5 million children out of school in Nigeria, it will be very strange for us to expect that there will be any other result rather than the result we're having today. But the question is, what are we doing today to ensure that we get our children back to schools, that we provide jobs for the unemployed, that we provide social security system that will make the vulnerable members of this society not want to resort to crime? If you arrest 10 persons on the scene of the crime, Mr. Speaker, I can bet you that hardly will you find 10% of that number who are graduates or who have gainful employment. Most probably they are people who did not go to school, who fell out of school, who are victims of drugs, victims of broken homes, and those who do not have jobs. So, Mr. Speaker, I am advising that Nigeria should take greater interest in investment in education, investment in poverty alleviation schemes and job creation, investment in social security systems that will make people seek other alternate means of survival when they have pressure rather than yielding to the temptation of going into crime. When we do all this, Mr. Speaker, we will be preventing a snowballing of the present situation and problem in the next 5, 10 years. It is good we solve the problem today, but what happens in the next 5, 10, 15 years will depend on how much of attention we pay on the critical input into governance. Reduce poverty drastically, provide a means for people to get a job when they go to school, and make sure that our children go back to school, especially in the northern part of the country where we have the most serious cases of insecurity in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Please, Minority Leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, for yielding the floor to me. My name is Kingsley Chinda. I represent Obiabo constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from Rivers State. My dear colleagues, I will start by saying that though tongues and tribe may differ, though political parties and religion may differ, one area that we have agreed in this House, united together, is the issue of insecurity. We have all agreed from all the contributions that something need be done and need to be done urgently. I will say that I have not seen any parliament today that discusses the issue of insecurity as much as we do, which is a clear sign that we are concerned and that we are worried. You will also recall that in the past we have agreed that all the resolutions of this House that has to do with insecurity should be collated and then an action be taken on these resolutions. We are yet to do this. Again, let me quickly say that we should look at the cause of insecurity, which our colleagues here have highlighted, and then perhaps dedicate a day, sir, a particular day set aside for us to discuss this issue of insecurity and arrive at resolutions. Because of the activities of this morning, I would not want to take more time on this issue than to say that I fully support all the contributions and ask that we take a day for us to discuss this issue of insecurity on the floor of this House and perhaps declare or urge the executive arm to declare an emergency on insecurity. One of the major problems is the issue of food insecurity, which we appear to overlook. When people are hungry, you don't expect them to be normal. We have food prices skyrocketing every day. We also need to check these things. But Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I support this motion and pray that action should be taken that will work outside the box on this issue of insecurity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think that's as much we can take on this. We have handled the issues comprehensively. If we allow all members to speak, everyone here has gotten something to talk about. And I would suggest, just like the minority leader pointed out, we choose a date to handle only the issue of insecurity and the way forward. Right now, we are going to vote on the amendments presented before the House. The first amendment was the one moved by Right Honorable Idris Wase, that his constituency be added to the prayer. Any seconder to that motion? Yes, Deputy Chairman Ami.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Ogel David Agada, member representing Ojuobi Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise this morning to second the amendment as moved by the former Deputy Speaker. I say second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second amendment is for leadership to meet with the President and discuss this further. This was moved by the Deputy Majority Leader of the House. Any seconder to this? The people at the back are almost forgotten. Let's go. Yeah, down there, yes. The man wearing white, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman, representing the good people of Uwai Diriola Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I rise this morning to second the amendment ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The third amendment is for us to allow the police to appropriate funds for the reconstruction of the destroyed infrastructure by the non-state actors, like the police stations. And this was moved by Honorable Miriam Onoha. Any seconder to this motion? Any seconder to this motion? Kelechi Wog.
The right day, Honorable Speaker, I remain Kelechi Wogu. I speak for the people of Eche, Omoma constituency. I'm from River State, the treasure base of the nation. I rise to second the motion moved by my colleague, Honorable Mariam. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The fourth amendment, which I don't know if Honorable Jaha is standing by it, is that we allow mercenaries. The security agency should allow mercenaries to come in to help the security situation in the country. That is the amendment that he moved. Are you standing by that amendment? Any seconder to that amendment? Yes, sir. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Ali Uba from Israel FCNA. I want to second the amendment made by Right Honorable Jaha. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support? Point of order. Yes. What is your point of order?
Okay. There is a quintessential speaker of the people of Nigeria, Right Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I speak for and on behalf of the very good people of Ifo Iwe Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the fastest growing economic state in Nigeria. I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. I'm writing under Order H6, that's personal explanation. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the House that we don't just get carried away with this euphoria and not the way we are so pained about the security situation. At the same time, some things that are of security concern, which perhaps even if they are to be implemented, but should not be in the so declared in the public sphere. I would not imagine this House of Parliament talking about mercenary on the floor of this House and so publicly. So I want to appeal that we allow the relevant committees that are concerned with the security and that of our leadership to handle that aspect rather than giving such approval on the floor of the House here. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, this is my honest suggestion, and I'm sure that the House will want to take that. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, sustained.
Point of order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Abbas Adigun, represent the people of Ibadan Southeast, Northeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come under 806 on the personal explanation. Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I can, about the Honorable Jara talking about mercenary. I want the House to know that we have a lot of brave personnel that we have in this country. If you notice that when the president came to power, we have 37 corps, 38 corps, 39 corps that were sent back home, automatically retired them because of the way they picked the service chief. We have brave Air Force Marshal, we have brave Brigadier General, we have brave Admiral that they can handle insecurity of this country. Asking the other country to send us the machinery, to me, as the ex-military, and to Nigerians of what we call giant of Africa today, is like insult. I think we can do by setting up a committee to invite all these retirement young Air Force Marshal, young Major General, young Brigadier General, and bring them together, and they can work with the service chief. They can work with all our security agents in this country, and we can get this job done. I just want the country to know that one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, please. Thank you very much for your contributions. Remember, we're on the Fourth Amendment, and my point of order has come that we should not be in the public discussion of whether or not we are going that route. And on the basis of that, we sustain that point of order. Today is joint sitting, and I'm sure the senators are hanging around. Once we get notification from the clerk, we'll ask the leader to move a motion to admit them. But for now, I want to ask if Honorable Jaha will want to step down that amendment motion in view of the last point of order.
Mr. Speaker, I thought I would be given the right of reply based on the submission made by Honorable Ishiaka and that of Abbas Adiogun. Mr. Speaker, what I was saying is simple. Trying to cure the above-mentioned reasons why our current personnel are not performing by Honorable trying to cure the mentioned items why our security agencies are not performing as enumerated by Abbas Adiogun. One, he said we don't have enough personnel to provide security for 200 million Nigerians. Am I right? He said we don't have the required equipment to fight the war. Am I right? He said we don't have the required stimulants, in other words, welfare, to encourage our security personnel to fight the war. If you don't have that, there is nothing wrong in recruiting. A recruitment can come either from within or from outside. Army strength of Ukraine and Russia is better than that of Nigeria, but they still invite mercenaries to come with their personnel, with their equipment, and whatever you can think of to assist them and end the war they are facing. So this is the only thing I'm asking. I am not saying the security chiefs or service chiefs are not performing. Yes, they are doing their best, but what I am saying is, in as much as we have this war for almost 2 decades today, and we spend more than 19 trillion naira on it, and in the past, during Jonathan Goodluck, there was mercenaries, and they were performing before they were removed. There is nothing wrong in bringing them back so that they can augment the effort of each other. Synergy can only be achieved if you have two fusing together or merging together. That is my concern.
All right.
But if it's the leaf of the house, there is nothing wrong. I can step down my motion.
Some people want to speak on this. Let me yield the floor to Honorable Lake.
I don't want to go against the will of the House, but that is my position. Let people understand my position.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Lake Abejide is my name. I represent the good people of Yaba.
What is your point of order?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm coming under Order 86. Mr. Speaker, to explain that this country, Nigeria, at once engaged mercenaries. I don't see any controversy in what Honorable Jah suggested. And it is to finding a solution to a raging problem. I don't think that this is supposed to cause a controversy between Honorable Jah and Honorable Abbas. I think, Mr. Speaker, a motion has been moved. It has been seconded. You put it to vote.
No,
and let the House vote.
It's not been
Thank
seconded.
you, Mr. Speaker.
That motion has not been seconded yet. Wait. And it's not a battle between Honorable Abbas and Jaha. It's a debate on the floor. It's not personal. You know, we don't do personal debates here. is an issue on the floor which everybody have the right to contribute to. Please, before I come to you, Honorable Idris, Leke was standing. Leke, let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Leke Abejde is my name. I represent the good people of Yagbafere constituency. I'm from Kogi State. You can see I've been raising up my hands severally because of the dangers embedded in these machineries that we are talking about. Paraventure, you invite these machineries, they come. And they help you solve this problem, as you said. And it happens that they are facing challenges after they go back to their country. They could not survive well, and they are hungry. They will create more insecurity for you because you are the one that will be feeding them. If it is true that they have appeared here before, then we need to investigate the level of insecurity we are having today. Mercenaries may be the cause of that. What I subscribe to is this adaptation of strategies that Honorable Miriam mentioned. We can use our local hunters. I have in my own area, there's a community called Ifelukotun. They have a squad called Lion Squad. In that environment, there is no kidnapping that can take place that these people will not get them. They understand the terrain. We agreed that what we are fighting is asymmetric war. It's not a normal war that you can invite mercenary that you are comparing to Ukraine and the other country. These are war that is not known to the system. So please, inviting mercenaries will create more insecurity for us in the future. Because if those people too are having problem with us, the same country, having problem with Nigeria, then who are we going to invite? Who are we going to invite to come and help us solve the problem?
All right,
so let us look inward to solve our own problem. Thank you so much.
We have the Chairman Defense, but you will speak later. Chairman Defense. Let me hear my predecessor, the Right Honorable Idris Wase.
Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, once again, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wase Federal Constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, just a quick reminder that when Honorable Abbas brought up some issues, you did rule as order sustained. And I still want to bring to your attention and the attention of the House. These are matters of strategy. You don't discuss, like it is being canvassed and said, issues of security strategy on the floor of the House. No parliament does that. And we shall be in the open, and we shall be now doing the service. Whether we're going to have it or not have it, this is a matter for the room discussion. If we are in executive session, this matter could be discussed thoroughly. I want to beg my colleagues who have input to give, to allow for that day that was canvassed by my brother, minority leader of the House, so that we can have a very report, whether executive or, and that if we are going to go into this aspect, I will find executive. Your Excellency, I want to beg that we need to restrain our emotions so that we don't lose the fame as to what we want to achieve. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. You know, the order that was moved by Honorable Isiaka on relying on 8(6), that order was sustained. And to that extent, conversations around this issue was, by the move of the gavel, suspended. So that was why I called Honorable Jaha to reconsider stepping down his motion before other people showed interest to discuss this issue. I'm in agreement with the Right Honorable Idris Wase that issues of strategy, security strategy, should not be thrown to the open. Executive section, maybe yes, it is to the exclusive reserve of the security experts to handle. So, I throw the question back to Honorable Jaha. Are you willing to step down this motion before I ask the question?
It's okay, sir. I'm a Jahababa once again, Chief of Damboa Federal Constituency. Since it's the opinion of the leadership, including former leadership, to step down this sensitive issue to be discussed in an executive session whenever and wherever the need arises, I step down for the first time. I step down this motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for yielding to the voice of reason and also watching the mood of the House. It's all for good so that we can get the things done and well done. So, motion for amendment by Honorable Jaha, step down by the leave of the House. So, a fifth amendment motion, which Honorable Abbas subscribed to, and that was to increase the recruitment of more security agents. I don't think issues like welfare, update equipment, and community policing should come under this amendment. Do we limit your amendment to asking that the security agencies be given waiver based on the fact that we have about 230 million? And like you said, all the security agencies put together, they are not enough in line with global best practices to police and to defend Nigeria. Are you standing by that motion for amendment?
Mr. Speaker, again, Abbas Adigun is my name. Represent the people of Ibadan Southeast, Northeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ibadan, your state. Yes, I concur with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any seconder to that motion that the security agencies be allowed opportunity to increase their number, and this should be budgeted for, and this should be supported by all and sundry. Any seconder to that? Yes, my brother. Not you, yes?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I remain Tijani Kayode Ismail, representing the people of Ifelodun, Ofa, Oyun Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kwara State. I rise to second the amendment heavily moved by Honorable Abbas Adigun. I so second.
Those in support of this motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. That brings us to the last amendment on this motion. And I'll ask those in support of the motion as amended, say aye. Those in support of the motion as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Army, Police, Defense, National Security and Intelligence, and House Committee on Disaster Management, NEMA. Yeah, well, I've just been informed that we can take one or two more matter of urgent public importance because we are still waiting for signal. The Senate President and the Speaker, they're having meetings at the moment before the joint sitting. So I'll ask the question, any member with public matter of urgent public importance should rise to do so.
Honorable Jah. Honorable Jah.
Yes, Honorable Jonathan, please.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Gaza Jonathan Befi, and I rise to move a motion for the House to investigate the dismissal of over 600 people from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
You need to pay attention. There is a motion on the floor, and it's a very important motion. Chairman, Rules and Business, help us, let him clear the aisle.
So in line with this, I ask for suspension of Order 8.
Please repeat that. Members want to hear you.
Okay. I wish to ask to move a motion under urgent matters of public importance under Order 8, Rule 4, that Rule 5, I beg your pardon, that we consider a motion to investigate the arbitrary retrenchment of 600 Nigerians from the employ of the Central Bank of Nigeria under their reorganization exercise. I so move.
As a matter of urgent national importance, that CBN has retrenched 600 people. The motion sponsor says it's urgent. Any seconder? All the way to the back.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Daniel Asama, and I represent the people of Bassa and Just North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Plateau State. I rise this afternoon to support the motion moved by my honorable colleague that this motion be heard as a matter of urgent public importance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion that is urgent, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, yes, Honorable Billy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesowa Osawaru. I represent the good people of Orion Federal Constituency of Edo State. I'm still a very proud Benin chief. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to second the second leg that this motion is urgent enough to be heard. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Jonathan.
The House notes that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, as part of an extensive reform, has been downsizing the workforce, which has affected close to 600 employees, including directors and nearly all staff members in the Governor's Directorate. The House is aware that the recent downsizing by the Apex Bank has raised significant concerns and controversies among stakeholders, including affected employees, labor unions, and the general public. Cognizant that now more than ever before, there is a dire need for meritocracy in institutions and the importance of maintaining and sustaining strong institutions. Nigeria currently has the highest number of chartered certified accountants and chartered financial analysts. The nation is at a critical point of economic, and we therefore cannot afford to develop capacity and lose it to other countries worried that these retrenchments, without any sort of fair hearings or panels or criteria set out, could cost the nation a lot in settlements. A director's tenure, according to civil service rules, is 2 terms of 4 years, or 60 at the attainment of the age of 60, whichever comes first, I believe. This makes them like permanent secretaries. Their capacity being thrown away cannot be easily replaced. Also worried about staff morale and progression. People choose careers in civil service so that they can have some sort of security and learn from their superiors. Terminating appointments arbitrarily will amount to killing the morale of junior staff, not knowing what their own fates could be. Concerned that, considering the President's renewed hope agenda and the state of the economy right now, it will be extremely unprofessional to retrench over 600 families, especially where households rely on such persons for their daily livelihoods. The House therefore resolves to mandate the Committee on Banking Regulations to look into the aforementioned reforms of the APS Bank that has led to this downsizing, and critically analyze criteria that were used and report back to the House within 8 legislative weeks. I so move.
Honorable Abadi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Agbedi Yeitiem Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Kelemo Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable Jonathan. I so second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Or you want to throw in some words on it? Those against it?
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Any amendment or anything?
Okay, 4 weeks. Okay. Okay.
I would like people to say 1 or 2 things on this before we ask the general question. It's been seconded.
I just want to, the Right Honorable Speaker, I beg your pardon and crave the indulgence, the leave of the House for just 2 corrections in line with our rules. Number 1 is the issue of time of investigation. Our rules does not contain for 8 weeks, so I want to crave your indulgence that we reduce it to 4. And equally crave the indulgence of the House that other relevant committees, especially the federal character, should be included in this investigation. I so move, sir.
All right. Minority Leader, you have something to say?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, just to second the amendment as proposed by Honorable Gaza. I so second.
Those in support of these amendments as proposed by the mover of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I think it's a straightforward motion. Is there anybody who has anything to say? It's an investigative motion. So those who are in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So the motion is referred to Committee on banking institution, as well as Federal Character, Committee on Federal Character of the House for investigation and to report back in 4 weeks. Any other member with a matter of urgent public importance? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, my name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman Alani, representing the good people of Iwo Ayediriola Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I rise this morning to move a motion on public importance against, on a motion, on a need. I'm coming under Rule 8, Order 8, Rule 5, to suspend all the relevant rules for me to take this motion. The motion is on the need for the federal government and the National Boundary Commission to address the continuous water boundary dispute among the community in Osun State and Oyo State. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder to this motion? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, my respected honorable colleague, my name is Honorable Abdraman Najia. I represent the very good and wonderful people of Gwagwalada, Kuje, Kwali, Abaji. I'm from FCT. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague that his motion on public, this motion of public, urgent public importance should be heard. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion. Yes, Namchi. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and fellow colleagues. My name remains Honorable Engineer Dominic Okafo. I represent the good and hardworking people of Agwata Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State, the light of the nation. I rise this morning to support the second leg of this motion that is very urgent and important to be heard now. I so second.
The Chief Whip, the House is noisy. The President will be stepping in soon. Please keep the House in order. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, go straight to your motion, but make it brief because we need to admit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The motion is on the
Honorable Abbas, go to your seat.
For the federal government and the National Boundary Commission to address the continuous water boundary dispute among the community in Osun State and Oyo State. The House notes that there has been a prolonged interstate boundary dispute in the community in the Niwo local government area. And
Honorable Lalo, sit down.
The local government area of
Honorable Lalo, sit down. Leave the aisle.
Area in Oyo State, which has been causing immense challenges for the residents of this community. The House also notes that the boundaries dispute in this local government in Osun State and Oyo State have led to numerous violent clashes, which has claimed many lives of the people living in that affected community. The village affected in Osun State include Papa Village, Paku Village, Oloya Village, Ogunajo, Malamu, and Inewo local government, and all as Eleye, Akinleye, Arishe Village in Ayedire local government area of Osun State. The House further notes that as a result of this interstate boundary dispute, 24 of April 2024, Eleye Village in Ayedire local government area of Osun State was burned down by some hooligans from the other community that lead to losses of many lives. The House also aware that the continuous boundary disputes among this community have inflicted a great deal of hardship on the people of Iwo and Nayedire local government and hindered the development of infrastructure, investment, and crippled meaningful progress in different sectors, such as agriculture, education, healthcare, and commerce, etc. I also note that sometimes in February 2022, delegates from the National Boundary Commission, led by one Mr. Femi Osunaike, met with the former Deputy Governor of Osun State, who also doubled as the Chairman of Osun State Boundary Commission, in order to intervene in the boundary dispute between the affected community in both states. They are further aware that the National Boundary Commission team were able to trace and discuss the Osun and Oyo interstate boundary within the issue on the grey sector to be sorted out. They are also worried that the lack of a definite, precise, and clear boundary among the local government affected in both states will lead to continuous flinching territory claim, which gave rise to various disputes and clashes among the community of Iwo, Ayedire local government in Osun State, and Lagelu local government of Oyo State. They are also worried that the interstate boundary dispute is not quickly resolved. There will be a continued losses of life in the affected community, as well as prolonged negative impact on the life and the meaning of the livelihood of the affected people. They also resolve to hold the federal government and the National Boundary Commission and other relevant agencies to prompt to reopen the boundary adjustment process among the Iwo local government, Ayedire and Osun State, and Lagelu local government in Oyo State in order to find a lasting and amicable resolution. The House also resolved to conduct a thorough and impartial assessment of historical record, traditional boundary, land title documents to ensure an accurate demarcation that respect the cultural and historical significance of the affected area. The House also resolved to encourage the active participation and involvement of the affected community, the affected local government council, traditional leaders, the stakeholders from Iwo local government, Ayedire local government, and Lagelu local government in the settlement of the adjustment boundary process, as their contribution are crucial in the achieving a fair and justice and peaceful coexistence among all the parties involved. The House also know that resolved to encourage cooperation between peaceful dialogue, and resolution among the affected community in the local government, Ayedire local government, and Lagelu local government. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please bring us a copy of your motion. It's not before us here.
And my fellow colleagues, Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Taufik Abimbola Ajilesoro. I represent Ife, Federal Constituency in Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the source. I rise to second the motions as moved by my brother, Honorable Lukman. I so second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. These motions are referred to Committee on Special Duties. Honorable Kelechi Nwogu, yeah, matter of urgent public importance, and that will be the last. Make it brief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will just go to the heading and straight to the prayers. My name is Honorable Kelechi Nwogu. I represent the people of Ichie Omoma constituency. I'm from Rivers State, the treasure base of the nation. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion of urgent the need to control public violence against Nigerian law enforcement officers. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are disturbed that thousands of law enforcement officers attacked by civilians were injured or even killed in line of their duties. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are aware.
You're moving without it being seconded. You just introduce the motion, let it be seconded that is urgent. And
Sorry,
it can be
Mr.
heard.
Speaker, apologies.
Now.
I move.
Please second.
Thank you.
Motion considered to have been moved, let it be seconded.
I represent Mashi Dusi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Katsina State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. The motion has been seconded. The first leg, the second leg, any seconder? Any seconder to the first leg? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Dixon Taki. I represent Makodi Guma Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Benue State. I rise this morning to second the motion. I believe moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Just let us have the topic. You go to the prayer because we need to admit the senators and the presidents.
Right, Honorable Speaker, need to control the public violence against Nigerian law enforcement officers. Mr. Speaker, we are paying that thousands of law enforcement officers attacked by civilians who are injured or even killed in line with their duty. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are concerned that the country will continue to lose more dedicated and gallant law enforcement officers if measures are not being put in place. Right, Honorable Speaker, I go straight to the prayers. Condemn all forms of public assault or killing of law enforcement officers. Urge heads of law enforcement officers to provide officers with harmless protective equipment and training and public crisis management. Right, Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Jafaru.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My dear respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Jafaru Leko, and I speak for very good people of Ogoro, Das Tafa Balea. I rise this afternoon to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
It's a straightforward motion. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is referred as prayed in the body of the motion and the prayers. Honorable colleagues, you remember that there was a 1-minute silence that we did not observe in the motion moved by Balarebe. While we do that, the last motion moved by Kelechi will also go to Committee on Defense, Police, Internal Security. Shall we rise for 1-minute silence on the motion moved by Honorable Balarebe? One minute silence, please. 1 minute silence. May the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace. Honorable colleagues, the next business of the day is the admittance into the chamber. Honorable colleagues, this will come by way of a motion on admittance into the chamber. The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Vice President, former heads of state, The President of the Senate, Senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former Presidents of the Senate, former Senators, former Speakers, former Members, former Clerks of the National Assembly, Ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, management staff of the National Assembly, government officials and other dignitaries to commemorate the 25th year of unbroken democracy, unbroken legislature. This is standing in the name of the House Leader. The Leader is invited to move that they be so admitted. Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Honvere, of One Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. I rise to move admittance into the chamber that the House, pursuant to Order 6, Rule 4, Sub 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, do admit into the chamber the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Vice President, former heads of state, the President of the Senate, Senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former Presidents of the Senate, former Senators, former Speakers, former Members, former Clerks to the National Assembly, Ministers, management staff of the National Assembly, government officials, and other dignitaries to commemorate 25 years of unbroken democracy and legislature. I so move.
Thank you, the Leader of the House, for that motion. And I invite the Minority Leader of the House, Honorable Chinda, to second this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, Kingsley Chinda, I rise to second the motion as moved by the House Leader under Order 6, Rule 4, that we allow non-members of the House of Reps admission into the chambers. I so second.
The question is, those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, Chief Whip, please approach the chair. Honorable Kinda, please, can you join us? Honorable Chinda. Honorable colleagues, seeing that today is a special day in the history of our country, many didn't believe that we will get here. Please, honorable members, sit down. Honorable members, have your seat. Honorable members, have your seat, please. Seeing that today is a special day in the history of Nigeria, quite special, because many didn't believe that back to back we will get our democracy advance to this stage of clocking 25 years of unbroken democracy, a cause for celebration. While we wait the senators to join us and the executive to join us, having moved the motion, we're going to open the floor for members to say something about our democracy while we wait for them. 2 minutes of contribution of how far we have fared as democracy, knowing that we are the fulcrum of our democracy. We must have a say. Some of you may not be able to say something when the president is here, but the cameras are here, Nigerians are listening. They want to see how much you believe in this democracy and what you think we have achieved so far. And they need encouragement from you to keep believing in this democracy. So I will ask the leader of the House to open up this conversation in 2 minutes. And then there are other leaders here who will say something. If you don't indicate your interest, I might call you, even if you fail to indicate. So prepare your mind on what you say to Nigerians about our democracy while we wait for Mr. President and the senators who has been formally admitted by our rules. Leader, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I remain Professor Julius Ihonvire, ON, DSSRS, and I come from Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. 25 years of unbroken democracy is definitely something to celebrate. Like the police normally put in their station, if you hate the police or you don't like the police, try talks and see the difference. If you think the democracy is not perfect, it is not the one you were dreaming about, it is not what we expect to be, get a taste of authoritarianism, dictatorship, and fascism, and you will know that what we have is setting a road path to a better society. Certainly it could be better, but we are thankful that we have this. 25 years has given the legislature an opportunity to grow, to set a tradition, to build history and build leadership, and provide a fertile training ground for training young Nigerians as legislators so that they can contribute while here and outside to the growth and development of this country. Mr. Speaker, Many years ago, one Robert S. Kaplan, writing in The Atlantic, wrote an article called The Coming Anarchy. And I think he wrote a couple of other articles after that, giving Nigeria's democracy less than 10 years to survive. I think we have disappointed him, and we have also disappointed other enemies of doom, so to put it. Our democracy is growing, is getting stronger. There are things we still need to do. We need to expand the political space. We need to consolidate our institutions. We need to build accountability and inclusion in the political parties. We need to create more room for women and for young people to enjoy the benefits of democracy. We need to ensure that our democracy strengthens us enough to punish impunity, corruption, and political rascality at whatever level it comes. We've been discussing how to strengthen local governance. This is a task that must be done, and we cannot do it under a democratic system like we have. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot to say that is good about democracy. There is very little to say about democracy that is not working. But with time, I am sure we'll move from just democracy to democratization, which is the level where you consolidate the institutions, structures, and processes of democracy and begin to put the people and their institutions, communities, on the driver's seat to determine who governs them, how they are governed, and why they are governed. We are making good progress, and I think that we should continue to work hard at it, and I'm sure that these dividends of democracy that we always dream about will become a routine issue. Finally, Mr. Speaker, as we also discuss the issue of constitutional amendment, you can only talk constitutional amendment or constitutions under a democratic system. We should also remember that we have a challenge in there, which is not just to bring in the constitution of the people, but also to begin to think about building, encouraging, expanding the culture of constitutionalism. That is a level where the people themselves own the Constitution and deploy it to defend their individual and collective rights. But to do that, they have to know what the Constitution is about. And I think that Deputy Speaker is laying the foundation of carrying every Nigerian along as much as possible. And we should not be afraid of comparative studies of what is going on in other climes, particularly in Africa and the developing world, so that we can enrich the dynamics of our own political processes. I want to congratulate us, congratulate Nigerians, congratulate the leaders of this country on how far we have fared. And I want to pray that they get the courage, they acquire that courage to do things better to benefit the entire country. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Leader of the year to 25th year, back to back. And this fulcrum of democracy has been there, ensuring that the democratic ethos and principles are well sustained from one administration to the other. A great thank you to Nigerians. I want to invite the Right Honorable Minority Leader of the House to lend his voice to this conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Kingsley Chinda, Obiakpo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, truly it's a thing of pride to our country that we have sustained this democratic ethos for 25 years back to back. Like the House Leader rightly said, and the Deputy Speaker also affirmed that, several persons had expected that Nigeria will not survive up to today. We have had prophecies that the country was likely not to survive some of our elections. But here we are. Here we are as servants in the temple of democracy, working hard, worshiping, praying, and getting answers to some of our prayers. I will again take us to the elementary issue of what I think Abraham Lincoln described democracy as government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And that's why we are here as elected representatives of the people. But we should continue to ask ourselves the simple question. Yes, we are elected by the people. Our performance so far in the last 25 years has it been for the people and in the interest of the people? That I will leave us to search our conscience. Again, some of the tenets of democracy includes the existence of periodic election, equal rights, press freedom, and of course, freedom for the workers of this country. In the past 25 years of unbroken democracy, where are we on all these tenets and quality of democracy in our country today? We still have a long way to go. There are several things that we have left unfulfilled. There are several areas that we need to fill the gap. And I believe that as a house of the people, this is a period for us to sit back, reminiscence where we are coming from, where we are today, and where we ought to be, and begin to do those things which we ought to do as Democrats. Firstly, Nigerian workers are at the verge of going on strike a few days from today. And I recall that as a parliament, we had taken a decision to take steps to stem that. That is democracy in action for you. And I pray that we be more proactive to ensure that we, as members of these green chambers, that will be fundamental and instrumental to ensuring that that strike does not hold, so that we'll be practicing democracy, and let it be democracy in action for Nigerians. And then the issues of security and insecurity that is besieging our country. We have discussed it this morning, but we cannot run away from it. In a democratic setting, we believe that people should be happier, people should be more, people should trust the government of the day better, and because these things are lacking, we see signs of insecurity. And so we need to better some of these areas. In all, I will join the House leader in congratulating Nigeria at 25, unbroken democratic practice, but I will also say that we have a long way to go. There are so many things that we, as Democrats seated here, ought to do which we have left undone. And I pray that going forward, as we sit in our chambers, particularly in the executive session that we have agreed to hold, that we discuss these issues and take steps to ensure that we strengthen democracy. We want to witness the 50th anniversary, the 100 years anniversary of democracy in this country unbroken. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleagues.
Thank you very much. Speaking about democracy and not mentioning the people's element found in democracy is a disservice to the definition of democracy as highlighted by the great Abraham Lincoln that he just quoted. Let me buttress where that particular comment was made. They call it the Gettysburg Address. This is what the President Abraham Lincoln said. The Gettysburg Address, November 1863, Pennsylvania, delivered by President Abraham Lincoln. 70 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that this nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground, the brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or distract. The world will little note, no longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from this honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. These were the words of that great man we always cite when we wish to define democracy. And his last prayer was that this democracy shall not perish from the earth. We have clocked 25. It is our wish to be 50, to be 100. Once again, Nigerians, congratulations. Let me hear from Honorable Sarah Solly.
Mr. Speaker, democracy as a system of governance, it has its own nuances, but I would talk about its opportunities, especially the opportunities it has granted to this country over 25 years. One, it has provided citizens a process to participate in the political process of a country without hindrance. Secondly, it has provided individuals freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Freedom, it has guaranteed civil liberties where people have freedom of religion, freedom of association, freedom of assembly, which were not there. The society, the citizens could not have enjoyed that without democracy. There is the issue of accountability. The people holds people in governance accountable, and it is their duty to present themselves before the people that elected them to account for their stewardship. Democracy creates an environment for economic opportunities, liberalize the economy, liberalize participation of each and everyone in the ecosystem of the economy of the country. Democracy, Mr. Speaker, emphasizes on equal and social mobility, where people advance based on their merit, hard work, intellect. Is only democracy that can provide that space and open the society for people, for citizens to actualize themselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. I would like the Deputy Speaker, my predecessor, to say one or two things about our democracy. He has been in the House back to back, and it's doing that. Let the former leader of the House get ready to contribute to this topic. Our own Right Honorable Idris Wase, the floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris, representing Wase Federal Constituency of Plateau State. By the grace of God, Mr. Speaker, like you did mention, into my 5th term, meaning at the end of this tenure, if Allah permits, I will be 20 years in Parliament. You imagine having a child that was born 2007. might have go through studies to study in the primary, secondary, and maybe to his university to know one person only as his leader in the National Assembly of the House of Representatives. That is a very, very rare opportunity and privilege. And I want to thank God for this. And putting and aligning this, I want to appreciate what God Almighty have done to this country, because I know the gains and the benefit of democratic institutions and dispensation cannot be quantified. Some of us coming from a very poor background might have not been here if not because of this kind of opportunity. I believe we belong to the weaker ones in terms of strength, but because of the democratic parties where the people have the say, the children of the poor, the rich could intermingle and align and discuss the issues of their country. It is not a simple gift. So I want to congratulate all Nigerians that we are celebrating 25 years of unbroken democracy. I think the doors to wealth, prosperity is quite very large. And we have benefited and we are benefiting. And the country is benefiting. In the past, some few persons will sit in a small room and call themselves Supreme Military Council and decide for us what millions are supposed to take a decision on. But today, it is over for 25 years, and I want to commend those who struggle and fought, our forefathers who helped to ensure that democracy is in existence in this country. It wasn't gotten easily, and I thought, and I believe that's why June 12 is very important to all of us. It is the sweat of those who labored and ensured that what was done on June 12 come to an end, and to push that we must have the democratic expression that today we are calling ourselves honorable members. Thank you very much, Nigerians. Thank you, our founding fathers. I want to appreciate God Almighty. And I believe the door to prosperity, like I mentioned, I want to say that if all, and we're all doing our best, our constituency wasn't the same for the past years that was under the military regime. What we have in terms of infrastructure development today is much better. The say in governance is much better. And the barbaric way of carrying out judicial dispensation, as of today, if you compare, we are better. What used to happen was decreased. Today, you have processes of determining how your laws will be done, and you go through all the processes from the bills presented, gazetting, to public hearing, and eventually you come back to the parliament to have what is called a law that will govern and guide our people. These are things that we should celebrate, that we should thank God for this opportunity. It has connected also the outside world much better, and it has attracted investors in this country much better. What I think we should align and try to do is, as prayed by my brother, minority leader, what does our conscience say in terms of doing the right thing? Are we in alignment in terms of what the constitutional provision is asking us to do in obeying all our laws and rules? I think these are the things that we should do. Thank you, Honorable Sada, for bringing out, of course, the promotion in terms of fight against corruption is much better under this dispensation. Utilization and public accountability is much better, and I believe it should be better. All I am asking is that may this democracy be lasting and lasting forever and ever. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity given to us. May God help us. May God continue to guide us and enrich us with wisdom of Solomon as we carry out our activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Idris Wase, for that well-rounded contribution on the conversation. While Honorable Faleke gets ready to contribute to this topical issue, may I invite the former Majority Leader of the House to tell us what he thinks about our democracy that is 25 years today. Make it brief, too.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على نبي الكريم. Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker, the Speaker of the House of the Nigerian people, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, with the Deputy Speaker presiding in the chair, my respected colleagues, members of these hallowed chambers, I remain Honorable Ado Dogwa, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. I represent the good people of Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. And for the records, Mr. Speaker, being the House of the people and an institution that reckon with the rule of law, I want to say that leveraging on the court order that I still stand as Sardauna of Reno of the Reno Kingdom in Kano State. This is also democracy. The rule of law has to succeed. I also double as the Dallatu of Kangiwa in Kebbi State, and I'm also Gado Damasu of Uke in Nasarawa State. My respected colleagues, democracy, as it says, government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, I would like to join the leadership of this great chamber to congratulate Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for coming this far on the path of democracy. I would like also to congratulate the members of these great chambers, and by extension, congratulating our fellow Nigerians for having a successful 25 years unbroken democratic system in our great country, Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, may I also congratulate the national chairman of the ruling APC in Nigeria, that yes, we are 25 years of unbroken democracy. Mr. Ganduje, my boss, I congratulate the party and the nation at large. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is obvious to mention that in every process that is meant to serve the people, you are virtually going to look at the disposition of the people, the aspirations of the people, and walk in that direction. I want to say, Your Excellency, my respected colleagues, without fear of any contradiction, that we have done quite good in the delivery of the good and the expectations of the people of this country. If you recall, Your Excellency, when we were having or facing the military juntas in the past, it was government that was run without, at least without this institution. And for us to have run a system with this institution reflecting and representing the interests of our people and in the overall interest of the nation for 25 years unbroken, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, is worthy of celebration. I therefore rise here proudly to say that we celebrate 25 years of unbroken back-to-back democracy in our great country, Nigeria. And this institution has actually contributed immensely to the development of democracy in Nigeria.
Thank you.
We have come through a lot of things, and we have done a lot of legislation, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that have really aided the public participation and also aided placement of Nigeria in the right corner in the face of democracy in the Committee of Nations in the globe. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I cannot sit down without actually thanking this National Assembly for some of the very serious legislation that we have painstakingly taken in the interest of our people and the interest of the nation. Your Excellency, the Petroleum Industry Bill, which was passed into law, and now Petroleum Industry Act, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, is one legislation that each and every one of us here must individually and collectively be proud of. We have put our nation as an oil-producing country in the committee of other oil-producing countries in the nation, an OPEC member, leading OPEC member, and we are now going by a legal framework that actually places Nigeria in the best position when you are talking of oil production and oil sales in the global world.
Okay.
Other legislation, Mr. Speaker, that I don't have to necessarily hammer on. But look at, for instance, the Knock to Yon to Run. Knock to Run to Yan bill that was passed by this House and by this House and by extension by the National Assembly is also one very good legislation that brought about the younger ones, the brilliant ones from various shades of life, shades of experiences, whose experience are actually coming to pay a lot of good here on the floor of the House of Representatives.
All right,
we have given the young ones an opportunity to come and work with us, and they are working with us in good direction, and they are contributing seriously to the development of this country and to the legislative duties we are doing here. Your Excellency, I want to put also to the table that while we congratulate ourselves, that we must also charge ourselves. Charge ourselves by looking inward and looking at those areas where we should act and make Nigeria greater in the democratic process that we are running. Your Excellency, I want to put it before you as chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee that the issue of local government independence in Nigeria is one issue that must not be negotiated. Coincidentally, you are to chair the Constitutional Review Committee. I want that committee to be headed by you or being headed by you and this institution to take seriously the issue of local government autonomy, the insecurity problems we have, the banditry, the economic challenges we face all over in this country, Mr. Speaker, is born out of malfunction in the local government administration system. We have a constitution which specifies that we have 3 tiers of government. And as long as we want these 3 tiers of government to function effectively and be able to address problems at the grassroots levels, then local governments must be allowed to operate as independent tier of government for the benefit of.
I feel your passion.
Speaker,
and if I allow you,
the government must also try to do more in the area of security.
Thank you.
In the area of
Thank
security,
you, so that we can give others opportunity.
People are still facing security challenges, and the government and the institution of the legislature must also be ready to address this security problem so that our people everywhere in the country, in the 774 local governments, you have our people sleeping with their eyes closed.
Thank you very much.
I believe the House is ready for that. The government should also be ready for that.
We
work on the same page to ensure the overall development of Nigeria in every aspect and every ramification.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. I like your passion. And I know democracy is also allowing others to also contribute. His passion is so much on democracy. He has been in this parliament for a very long time. So when we talk about the fulcrum of democracy, he is one of the pillars, that has helped to hold our democracy strong. Honorable Paleke, while you stand to speak, I would like Honorable Gimba to get ready to address the Parliament. Honorable Paleke, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency, which happens to be the capital of Lagos, and that is democracy. Without democracy, there's no way. Somebody from like me from Kogi State, will be representing the capital of the most advanced state in this country. That is democracy. Democracy has allowed us as a people to be here. For democracy have got to know so many other Nigerians like us, so many other constituencies. I'm sure seated here we are over 300 different tribes, mother tongues. Yet we allow debates openly and give and take. That is democracy. In those days, under the military rule, you dare not stand up to talk. Even in the media, you will be arrested for doing what you think is right. But today, Nigerians under this human rights can talk, can say what they feel about government policies and what we need to do without any bias or any attack. Democracy has given us, even in the past, when we had issue in this country where former President Yar'Adua died, we had this doctrine of necessity. That was democracy. Without democracy, there was no way such a thing could have happened. I think that for us as a country, we are grateful to God for giving us these 25 years of unbroken democracy. For us as a country and as leaders, we need to look forward and see how we can better and advance the gains of democracy, how our people can be better off, and how this country will be more united, that the crisis in all the parts of this country can be eliminated. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Honorable Faleke. So straight to the point, we really...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
There's no point of order. We are not in plenary. This is a special section. Please let me recognize Honorable Gimba, please.
Thank you for the recognition, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Dr. Zainab Gimba. I represent Bama Ngalakala Balgi. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today on this special day of the Day of Democracy in Nigeria. I would like, first of all, to congratulate my honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, and all other Nigerians on this uninterrupted 25 years of democracy. Democracy, in fact, is not just about voting. Democracy is a process, and actually is not a state. There are liberal democracies which we have, I believe we have in Nigeria today. There are other countries that you have voting, people go out to vote for their representatives, but they have illiberal democracies because they have compromised a lot of things like the freedom of the press, freedom of involvement in all government processes, freedom, a lot of things, even the independence of the judiciary has been compromised in some democracies. But I think we should be proud that in Nigeria, during this period of 25 years of uninterrupted democracies, we have never in any way compromised the independence of these arms of government. Mr. Speaker, even in the UK and the UAE, where democracies are examples to us and to the rest of the world, until recently, I think, though the franchise, for instance, in the UK has been extended from 1830, but until in 1918 that women were allowed to vote. And we should all be proud that in these 25 years of democracy in Nigeria, there has never been a scenario where women or other factions in the society has been defranchised from voting. We should congratulate ourselves for that. And equally, even in the United States, it is until 1965 that African Americans were allowed to fully vote. So in looking at all these scenarios, Your Excellency, honorable colleagues, we should be proud that we have nurtured our democracy during these uninterrupted 25 years. Not forgetting the fact that we equally have challenges, which we are still working assiduously within the society, in the executive, the legislature, issues of insecurity, and all other things. I think we should all sit up to see that we use this same democracy that gives us the power to be involved in the process of government, to work hard to see that we face all these challenges and find solutions to it. We should look at the issues of insecurity, particularly, which, if you see, has different impacts and has created a lot of humanitarian emergencies in the country today, which resulted in issue of hunger, issue of malnutrition among our children, lack of school among our children, a lot of other things. And even lack of hospitals has also generated a lot of health issues in this country. And if you look at it, when we are talking about hunger or lack of physical health, the lack of mental health is one of the major issues that we should face during this period of our democracy, because it involves a lot of other things. It is all over. You can see it in children, in schools, everywhere. And this all resulted as a result of the fact that people have always been awake and are threatened with a lot of insecurity issues, ranging from kidnapping, from bandits, herders, Boko Haram, and a lot of others. And the IPOB everywhere. If you go to the northeast, to the southwest, to the south-south, to the north-central, everywhere you will find one sort of insecurity or the other.
Okay.
And this is one thing we should, as a legislator, sit down, look at it, revisit, and then work hard to see that next year, when we are celebrating our 26th year of uninterrupted democracy, we should say we are happy that we can sleep outside with our eyes closed. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. I knew that the man that was moving the
point of order, Mr. Speaker,
was to draw attention to himself.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
We would like to give you opportunity to say something, not based on your point of order. Let's hear you, Honorable Agocha, please. While you are doing that, the leaders of the nation who are here, recognize the Secretary to the federal government, recognize the leader of our party, the chairman, national chairman of our party, the friend of the parliament, who is also the governor of Borno State, recognize the leadership of the party. I've seen my own chairman from the southeast, who is in charge of our party in the south, Honorable Enuku, also former presiding officers and other government officials. Proper recognitions will be given to you by the time the joint session starts. But I just wanted to let the House know that people like you are sitting among us, and we are happy to have you in our midst. Honorable Agocha, you will make it very brief, just 2 minutes. If your mic is not working, we'll come back to you. Can we have Honorable Kafilat? Because we don't have time. Honorable Kafilat? Check if there's any mic that is on so they can turn it off. If your mic is not working, can we try Professor Abegeli?
Hello. Talk.
You're not recognized. You're not recognized.
Please, Honorable Agocha, sit down, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Professor Lillian Orobu. I represent the good people of Oka North and South Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Anambra State. Mine is very brief. Like you said, that democracy is also a process where you give other people a chance to speak. And we're celebrating 25 years of independence, 25 years of unbroken democratic system. And for me, this celebration is coming to me with so much mixed feelings, because Nigerians are all watching us. Nigerians are listening to us. Those people we are representing are listening to us. How much of this democracy, unbroken democracy that we are celebrating today, how has it translated to unbroken food security? How has it transferred and transformed into unbroken security in the nation? How has it transformed into unbroken access to education, access to health care? And we're talking about celebration of democracy. The democracy is government of the people, for the people, by the people. And it should actually change the lives of our people. We are representing our people. Our people are hungry back home. For me, to be honest with you, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing to celebrate.
Oh, you're saying we should not celebrate
we should
democracy?
be looking at celebrating food security. We should be looking at celebrating access to health care. So we should be looking at celebrating. There are a lot of things to celebrate. We know that we have had unbroken. Excuse me, please. I need to be protected. I need to be protected, Mr. Speaker.
You are protected, but democracy is what is protecting you.
So
democracy has given you that place you are standing.
We have on this floor.
To be a parliamentarian, it's democracy that gave you that platform. Are you saying you're not celebrating it?
How has it impacted? We need it to move a step further. We need it to move a step further. If I am here and it has brought me here, how has it impacted my own people? That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much.
So please,
thank you.
We are celebrating, I am celebrating, but we should be
okay, you are celebrating it now.
Implement what we have been doing here over
Okay, thank you. So you are celebrating it now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, Professor B has ended up saying that she is celebrating democracy. That the last words countered her first word because democracy gave her the platform to be able to address this issue. And to say she is not celebrating it is what bothered her. Honorable Kafilat, I want to hear you speak. Please.
I hope my mic works. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, our guests here present. My name is Kafilat Ogbara. I represent Koshofe Federal Constituency. I am from Lagos State, the Center of Excellence. I rise this morning to speak to Nigeria's 25 years of unbroken democracy. I want to say that we should appreciate God Almighty for keeping us thus far to ensure that Nigeria is still standing as we speak, because we have had so many prophecies that Nigeria was going to break. That was in 2015. And of course, today we have had several elections. And today, as we speak, we have a president that is one of those that fought for the democracy of Nigeria. We have a president that did an election and lost in his own state. That is democracy. Today, we know that democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. As we speak today, the population of Nigeria as it stands, Nigerian women constitute about half of that population. And a nation that decides to underutilize the potential of about half of our population will go nowhere. I want to appeal that as we celebrate Nigeria's democracy today being 25 years, we should, as leaders of thought, I am happy that the national chairman of the largest party in Africa, APC, is here seated. We need political party reform.
You are protected.
Hello. We need.
You.
We need. Hello. I am still on my feet. Mr. Speaker, I need your protection. I am still on my feet.
You are protected.
I am still on my feet, and nobody can intimidate me.
Honorable Kafilat.
Yes, like I was saying.
Honorable Kafilat.
We need political party reform.
Honorable Kafilat, calm down.
Yes.
You are protected by the chair.
Thank you.
Honorable Kafilat, you have not said anything that is not the fact.
Thank you.
Honorable Kafilat, the fact speaks for itself.
Yes, you said.
And the references you made, they are not debatable.
Thank you, sir.
So you are protected. Go ahead.
Yes, like I was saying, Mr. Speaker. Today, as we speak, Nigerian women are being marginalized, and this is the reality. We want political party reforms as we celebrate this democracy. We want a situation where the electoral body of this nation will reject single gender lists from our political parties, where lists are submitted for houses of assembly and they are all men, where lists are submitted for houses of representatives and they are all men, where lists are submitted for councillors at the local government level and they are all men. This is undemocratic. As we speak today, Nigerian women constitute the largest of the political participants, but Nigerian women are being used as singers, as dancers, as clappers. We want the women on the table. We want the women where political decisions are being made. We want our women where business decisions are being made. Happy democracy, Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kafilat. And I want to thank you for your passion. You started by celebrating democracy, but asking for us to advance it. And that the Parliament is in tune with you. The advancement of our democracy entails inclusion, inclusivity for gender, if we want to advance. That is what you have highlighted. And I'm happy that the advocacy from the women has started. And that you are using every opportunity to push your matter forward. The men are listening, Nigerians are listening. And at the right time, they will respond with how they will vote in line with the constitutional amendment on this thematic area. Let me go back to Honorable, we've taken from here. Let us take from Honorable, yes, Amos. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Amos Gwamnamagaji, and I represent the peaceful people of Zangon Kataf, Jaba Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, we are from Kaduna State, and I'm from People's Democratic Party. The party that set up this democracy we are celebrating in 1999. The foundation was properly laid by the People's Democratic Party, upon which other parties have sprung up and then they are ruling. Without that, I don't think we would have reached this level of democracy. And as we speak about democracy, we saw a PDP president leaving his seat to allow another party to take over. That is democracy. That is democracy. Mr. Speaker, as we speak about democracy, we thank God for preserving this dear country. Nigeria, indeed, is not where it ought to be, but certainly we are not where we used to be. And this points clearly about leadership. As we move forward and as we advance as a democracy, there is a need for leadership at every level. Everything rises and falls on leadership. I heard one of the speakers said, Nigeria is rich. Nigeria is rich in resources. Nigeria is rich in human capital. But in management of human capital and resources, there is still a lot that needs to be done in order to move this nation forward. Mr. Speaker, we are glad because of democracy we are standing here. We are glad because of democracy we could speak and our voice is heard. Mr. Speaker, there is still need for freedom in Nigeria. There are parts of Nigeria that cannot go and pray freely. There are other parts of Nigeria that cannot mingle freely. And if we are saying that we are practicing democracy, then there shall be freedom and the same law, constitution that govern one part of Nigeria should also govern the other part of Nigeria if we are practicing democracy. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that Nigeria indeed have received and has progressed in many dimensions. But I want to say here that Nigeria needs to provide social security for her citizens, especially as it relates to health and education. Up to this moment, Mr. Speaker, and everyone seated here, one of the greatest challenges and the calls, the text message we receive are borders on healthcare and education. And I think going forward, Mr. Speaker, Nigeria needs to get her healthcare system right. Without health, there is no productivity. Without health, there is no Nigerian. Until we get it right in our health sector, we cannot get it right in productivity. Mr. Speaker, moving forward, Nigeria needs to have our citizens, poor people, need to be able to access health care without paying from their pocket. Social security needs to be in place. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. And thank you for democracy. Thank you, Nigerians.
Honorable Isiaga. And then Honorable Jaha, get ready.
Thank you very much, Speaker, sitting as chair today. I'm Right Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka.
Honorable Jaha, the gentleman beside you will speak first.
I speak for and on behalf of the very good people of Ifo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, once again to remind you that I'm from the fastest growing economic state in Nigeria. Proudly, I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker. Sir, thank you. 25 years of unbroken democracy and in successions. What shall we say to the Lord than to say thank you for sparing our lives? My colleagues have said so much, but I just want to remind us that Lord Acton, specifically on April 5th, 1887, in England, he did talk about power and absolute powers. And that is the distinction I'm trying to make and let our people understand today in Nigeria, that to separate in between democracy and when someone possesses absolute power. I don't like to talk about military, where almost 200 million Nigerians are susceptible to the mood of just one individual. Depends on which side of the bed, as a military ruler, he wakes up from. He will now make pronouncement and it becomes law. And everybody is caged, cowed. But today, those that have even spoken here on this floor, that is democracy in action. Myself talking, and that of the people that sent me here, is democracy in action. The achievement we have made, progress we have made so far in the last 25 years. Mr. Speaker, my purpose of raising my hand up is to specially dedicate today by even just giving them a minute silence, those who have struggled for this democracy we are enjoying today. A lot of people lost their lives just for this to come to fore, to come to place, for us to have this opportunity, and as we are advancing. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to you and everyone here that we should observe a minute silence for all those who fought and lost their lives during the course of bringing up this democracy. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At the end of this conversation, we will look into that to give a 1 minute silence. Let me allow Patrick Omo, PhD.
Your Excellency, the Speaker, very esteemed colleagues, our guests, my name is Honorable Dr. Patrick Umar. I represent the entire people of Ikorekwene, Esienodim, Oborokara Federal Constituency. I am a proud son of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I wish to lend my voice in congratulating all Nigerians, particularly those of us who are opportuned to hold the mandate in service of the people. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this indulgence to even thank our brothers at the barracks for staying out of power, for remaining in the barracks and allowing us to have peace and smooth democracy. If they had come up with a coup, we wouldn't have this opportunity of serving in parliament. Of course, our constitution would have been suspended. A lot more would have happened to truncate our democracy. It is for me a day to also celebrate those ones who are there to protect the territorial integrity of our country. It's a day to say kudos to them and to thank them for remaining as gentlemen in the barracks. Celebrating Nigeria at 25 for us in Parliament and even for those in the other arms of government is a clear reminder that we are indebted to Nigerians. The fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy is a clear obligation on all of us who are in government today that we owe Nigerians. So I want to urge on all of us parliamentarians to continue to serve Nigerians selflessly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. We will allow Jahaya Nebo. Let him speak first. Make it very brief, please. And the speaker will be taking over soon, so make your contributions.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Victor Afamogene is my name. I speak for and on behalf of the people of Obaru Federal Constituency. Obaru is in Anambra State. Thank you for this opportunity. I rise to lend my voice to the contributions here today. I speak not as leader of ABGA, Labour Party caucus in the House, but simply as a Nigerian and a member of this hallowed chamber. It is true that after elections comes governance. In this chamber, it is not about political party, it is about the Nigerian people. So while I congratulate all of us on the occasion of 25 years of unbroken democracy, I wish for all of us to pause a minute and look at the statistics from where we are coming from over the last year. The statistics appear to be grim, and so we want to also urge the government of the day to work a little harder to meet the aspirations of the Nigerian people, from the price of petroleum products to the food inflation, to the exchange rate. A whole lot of things appear to be going wrong. So my appeal is that the government needs to work a little harder, especially looking at the interest rate, which was at 18% but is now at 26.25%. Mr. Speaker, our foreign reserves have also gone down from $35 billion to 32.7. In the face of all this,
Honorable, round up, please.
Oil production from 1.18 million barrels per day.
Please, shall we rise? Please, round up, round up.
Now do 1.28 million barrels. Ourselves, this year will be a lot more better. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, Your Excellency the Speaker and the Senate President, you proceed straight to your chair. The President of the Senate and the Speaker proceed straight to your chair.